You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned. You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned. You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned. You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned. You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned. You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amber TV, the voice of Amberzonia. Stay tuned.
But I've not heard the president voice. I think they are coming up now.
News and Talk 1380, WAOK Atlanta, WVEE, an Audacy station.
Okay.
Breaking news, sports, weather, coming from the WAOK News Center. NBC News Radio. Our former President Donald Trump will be arraigned this afternoon for allegedly trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. A 45-page indictment claims Trump is determined to remain in power despite having lost the election, while his former Attorney General Bill Barr says he believes Trump knew he lost the 2020 presidential election, telling CNN he thinks special counsel Jack Smith has a lot more evidence against the former president. A key premise of the case is whether Trump knew the election claims he was making were false after being told by several aides he had legitimately lost. About 65 million Americans are still dealing with record-breaking heat, particularly in the American South.
Major cities in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Kansas are all facing several days of dangerous heat as the heat index is forecast to go above 110 degrees. I'm Trey Thomas.
Today's weekly unemployment report showed an increase in jobless claims last week from the week before. The Department of Labor says the number of initial claims last week was 227,000, while U.S. worker productivity is apparently on a comeback. Philip Hewlett has detail.
According to economists polled by Reuters, second quarter non-farm productivity jumped 3.7%. In stark contrast, worker productivity in the previous quarter declined more than 1%. Analysts say this is good news for employers in terms of labor costs. They also say it's another sign that inflation is beginning to ease.
Hunter Biden's former business partner is saying Hunter had used his father's very... Devin Archer's testimony before a House Oversight Committee shows Archer told lawmakers then President Biden was the brand Hunter pitched to foreign partners. President Biden has denied ever being involved in his son's business dealings. Scott Carr, NBC News.
Thursday, August 3rd at 11 a.m. for an exclusive interview with American media. The leader of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, former British Southern Cameroons, Africa. His Excellency, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. And Dr. Sako will discuss the ongoing war in his country, which is the last country in Africa to be decolonized. So join us as we give a voice to our international community on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
New Dove Men Body Wash gives 24 hours of nourishing micro moisture. That means your skin feels healthy and smooth from your morning workout playlist to the podcast that gets you through your multiple bus and subway commutes, to the relaxing dinner background music you play for your date, all the way through to the white noise that helps you sleep. Get healthier, smoother feeling skin all day with new Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash.
Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the cans, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually, well, food. The Farmer's Dog Food is developed with vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door, making it easy to feed your dog real food with real benefits for them. Get 50% off your first box of smarter, healthier pet food at thefarmersdog.com/dogdays. That's thefarmersdog.com/dogdays.
You're all set with your new Navien water heater.
I can't wait to take a shower without running out of hot water. I'm just gonna love my Navien tankless water heater. I just want to say
Oh, no need to say that, ma'am. You'll always love Navien's high efficiency that will save you other water heaters.
I love how I have more space with its wall-hanging design. Please let me say
Nope, sorry, miss. I know you appreciate it, but I can't let you say it.
Why not?
Because with Navien, it's a tankless job.
How long you been waiting to use that?
You'd be surprised.
Find a Navien installer near you at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Greetings, everyone. I am Chief Judge Cassandra Kirk from your Magistrate Court of Fulton County, and I have crucial information to share with you. Due to potential street closures and barricades, we kindly ask all individuals scheduled for court appearance on the following dates to join us via Zoom. This will ensure seamless proceedings and avoid any inconvenience. Please take note of these dates: August 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, 14th, 15th, 17th, and 18th, 2023. If you are unable to access Zoom, we strongly encourage you to honor your court date and appear in person at the courthouse as scheduled. For those requiring Zoom links or any further assistance, contact us at 404-613-5313 during office hours, or you can email us at magistrate.jarequest@fultoncountyga.gov. Remember, your presence matters, and we appreciate your cooperation. Together, we smooth and efficient court process. Thank you for your attention.
Since 1971, Hosea Helps has been there for those in need. Whether people in the community are struggling to pay rent, looking to talk to someone they can trust, or longing for a healthy meal, clothing, or medical care, Hosea Helps has been here to lend a hand up. Today you can become part of that legacy. Your support can change a life, revitalize a family, and transform a community. Visit www.forhosea.org and donate your help today.
News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Call us now at 404-726-1380. On Point with Wandel and Stokes is on. Live well and win well on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Win well. It's On Point with Wandel and Stokes. So News and Talk 1380 WAOK. And part of the uniqueness of WAOK is that we're able actually to share the concerns of our people and what's going on in our world internationally. And because of that, we're able to let you know sometimes what is not being shared in prime media
or American, and I put that in quotes, American media, you can find those stories and conversations happening right here on Point with Wandolyn Stokes. So, for example, we've been hearing over the past few years about the crisis in Ukraine and the tension between Ukraine and Russia and how it has impacted us in the United States. We've talked about the leadership and the crisis, the war, the fatalities, and all that has happened. But what's actually going on in Africa? Well, we're so glad to have sharing with us today, and this is an exclusive, his first American interview. We want to welcome the leader of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, former British Southern Cameroons, Africa, His Excellency, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. How are you today? Welcome to On Point with Wandolyn Stokes.
I'm okay. I'm fine. Ms. Stokes, thank you for this great opportunity to address the world through your media house. It's a privilege to me.
Well, thank you. We're certainly glad to have you to share with us today. And I just want you to talk from your heart and bring us up to date with what's actually going on. First of all, talk to us about what led up to you being elected president of the interim government.
Wow. Yes. In 2016, if I have to start from here, then I am just going to start from the branches and not from the roots, because yes, that is when we had restored our independence. We restored it, and we constituted ourselves, established a government, because the government that was annexed after and dissolved by the French Cameroon, was restored in 2017, and a few months after, our leader was abducted and extraordinarily renditioned to Cameroon, and is now facing life sentence by the enemy, the country that we are fighting. So I was duly elected by the remaining leaders and civil society that constituted, represented in many countries, including the home front, and to replace the leader in jail or continue the fight. So that we need to know, we are trying to know what is it all about, how did we get here? Because I just came on board 2018, but things happened for us to get to where we are now, in a full-fledged civil war situation in Amazonia.
Yes, and would you say that, there's been a long-running leadership crisis there in Amazonia? Has there been?
Those are in-house matters that are very characteristic of every revolution everywhere. But essentially, I want to dwell on what is the matter, what is the fight about, because we did not rise up just to start fighting each other. The real fight we have is against those who have annexed us, those who caused the problem in the first place, and they are not being part of the solution. You need to understand our problem before you understand if there are problems in the house. Our problem is, let me explain in very simple terms what happened that we are where we are today. It's just like a child loses his parents in an act of war, and then is adopted by a family. The family takes care of this child, and the child gets to the age of marriage. And Unfortunately, the adoptive parents, instead of allowing the child to make a choice who to marry, the adoptive parent proposes two partners. So you either get married to this or to that. So the child makes a choice from the wrong choices, from the wrong alternatives that were provided. The child chooses one of them. Unknown to that child, that man is a murderer, is a serial killer, somebody to commit crimes for him. So if the child says, okay, let's do the rituals, let's do the dowries. In Africa, there are dowries you have to pay before you marry. So let's sign the marriage certificate. The person says no, because he's not contemplating marriage. He refuses to sign the marriage certificate. So a few days or so into the marriage, the girl realizes that this is the worst thing that has happened, and he needed to walk out because he had no right, and you continue to get maltreatment and violence and threats to the girl's life, and the girl decides to pull out. And then the man said, no, you must die. Start killing everyone around that is in support of that girl, so that the girl will be silent and nobody should know what the heck is going on. That is where we are. And then the parents that put that girl into that situation are looking away instead of getting involved to say, first of all, this is what we want. This is not what we thought. This is not what we contemplated. This is not what we wanted. And if, for example, there is not even a contract, there's not even a marriage certificate between you guys, it means it's a cohabitation gone wrong. Then why should one be killing the other for a cohabitation that has not worked, a courtship that has failed? So that is the situation between the French Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. We were forced into this by the United Nations post Second World War. The United Nations passed a resolution, which was Resolution 1514, establishing the trusteeship system. Ordering the conquered nations, the territories that were under the defeated nations, to be prepared for independence and self-government. And then we were under the Germans. So when Germany was defeated, we
hold on just a moment. Let me go to break, Dr. Sako, and we'll come back so that you can continue talking about as you were preparing for independence. We'll go to break and we'll be back with more. It's On Point with Wandalyn Stokes.
Hello, my name is Dr. Catherine Foster Rao, and I'm with the City of South Fulton. For great topics and informative conversation, I always stay on point with Wandalyn Stokes on News and Talk 1380 WAOK, the voice of the community.
The new WAOK listener line number is 404-726-1380. That's 404-726-1380. Call in now with your questions or comments on News and Talk 1380 WAOK. News and Talk WAOK and the Wait For Contra series presents An Evening of Soul, Saturday, August 12th and Sunday, August 13th at the Maple House Barnes Amphitheater. Performing live is Kim. Kim live in concert. But I can't stop loving you. Concertgoers also get to bring in their own food, drinks, and coolers. Maple House Barnes Amphitheater also features free parking. An Evening of Soul, Saturday, August 12th and Sunday, August 13th. Tickets can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com or the Maple House Barnes box office.
Whether your dog is in their puppy, adult, or senior years, there's nothing better than more years together. And the best way to feed their happy, healthy life is with fresh, healthy food. The Farmer's Dog makes it easy to keep your best friend healthy inside and out with fresh recipes made from real meat and veggies. They're pre-portioned just for your pup and delivered right to your door. Help your dog live a healthy life and get 50% off your first box of real fresh food at thefarmersdog.com/betteryears23.
New Dove Men Body Wash gives 24 hours of nourishing micro moisture. That means your skin feels healthy and smooth from your morning workout playlist to the podcast that gets you through your multiple bus and subway commute to the relaxing dinner background music you play for your date, all the way through to the white noise that helps you sleep. Get healthier, smoother feeling skin all day with new Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash.
You're all set with your new Navien water heater.
I can't wait to take a shower without running out of hot water. I'm just gonna love my Navien tankless water heater. I just want to say
Oh, no need to say that, ma'am. You'll always love Navien's high efficiency that will save you money on gas bills compared to other water heaters.
I love how I have more space with its wall-hanging design. Please let me say
Nope, sorry, miss. I know you appreciate it, but I can't let you say it.
Why not?
Because with Navien, it's a tankless job.
How long you been waiting to use that?
You'd be surprised.
Find a Navien installer near you at tanklessmadesimple.com.
At Rocket, we know buying a home is exciting and a bit overwhelming. Ready to buy a home but stressed about writing those big checks? Rocket can help you save. When you buy with Rocket Homes and finance with Rocket Mortgage, you can get up to $10,000 cash toward closing from Rocket Mortgage. It's a pretty big deal, and one you can get only with Rocket. Visit onlywithrocket.com to get started today.
For purchase transactions only, must log rate between 331 and 831. Call 8337 Rocket for conditions and restrictions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor. Finally reaching her, I asked, "What do you call that amazing smell?"
It's Gain Flings.
Gain Flings. My love had a name, but more importantly, it had a scent.
Fall in love with Gain Flings. Seriously good scent. Gain Flings with 50% more freshness ingredients versus leading bargain detergent.
I'm Listening reminds you that talk saves lives, and 988 makes it even easier to reach out and talk. When you dial or text 988, you'll be connected with trained counselors in over 200 crisis centers nationwide. And now you can reach out and get help in Spanish, providing you the help you need anytime, anywhere. 988, the new National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Talk saves lives, and with 988, talking is only 3 digits away. More at imlistening.org.
News and Talk 1380, WAOK.
Stay healthy, stay connected, and stay on point. Call us now at 404-726-1380. On Point with Wandel Stokes is on. Live well and win well on News and Talk 1380, WAOK.
Welcome back. The listener call-in number is 404-726-1380. We're talking with the leader of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, former British Southern Cameroons, His Excellency, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. We were talking, before we went to break, you were talking about the United Nations and what they established, and as you're preparing for, independence. Go ahead and continue.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Stokes. We were originally a German colony. They lost the war, and in 1919, a system was put in place, an international system, by the winners of that war to take over the territories that were under the Germans, to administer them. So after the Second World War, they decided that the best thing to do is to prepare all these territories for self-government or independence, because probably some of the reasons they found for the wars that were happening. So they decided to prepare these territories for independence. And the famous Resolution 1514, which they call the Declaration on the Granting of Independence to Colonial Countries and People. It was passed in 1960. So we were, because after the war, we were already, the Cameroon territory from the Germans was now divided into two, divided between the French and the English, the winners of the war. So we were already being administered by the Brits for about 40 years or something. Then when this resolution was passed, we were supposed to be prepared for independence or self-government. In 1960, the French decided to grant independence to their own part, which they called the Republic of Cameroon. Now, the Southern Cameroon Amazonia was still not granted independence by the trusteeship system. Was under the top territory, which was Britain. Britain was the appointed trustee by the United Nations organization. So, when our own turn came in 1961, 1 year, 10 months after the French Cameroon was already independent and a member of the United Nations, when our own turn came to be granted independence, the Brits, they gave us this option, and they said we should be granted independence by joining either Nigeria. You now see where I came up with my analogy. We should either join Nigeria or French Cameroon. We should be independent by joining. And you know that even in common semantics, joining means you are losing your independence. But we were granted independence by joining. That was the most confusing statement that was made by the world body, that we should be granted independence by joining either Nigeria or Cameroon. Those are the only choices that people were not listened to, because the world was more concerned about the geopolitics, the spread of communism. They did not want to grant independence to some of us. They said we're too small, so that communism will not come and run us over. So they were trying to grant us independence in a way that was convenient for certain interests. And they said we should join, and we put it in our consultation. We decided to join French Cameroon, since we had a history before, about 40 years back. So let's join French Cameroon. But unknown to us, French Cameroon was not contemplating joining, because even at the United Nations, they voted against our independence. Now, we voted and we agreed that we want to join them. So the results of that plebiscite were taken to the United Nations, and the world body passed Resolution 1608 to prescribe the processes that need to be put in place for these two countries to be joined together in a federation of two states of equal status. Because we were granted independence by joining another independent country. So it was a kind of confederation of two nations put together by the United Nations. And it required that the trust administrator was supposed to supervise that process, because that was the power given to the trust administrator to prepare this step for self-government or independence. So they were supposed to be part of the process of joining these two countries that they decided to put together. But the trust administrator abandoned us. They were not part of the process. They left. They left and handed us over to the French part of Cameroon, and the French from Europe were behind their vassal state of French Cameroon to make sure that instead of uniting with us, they should rather annex us and assimilate us, so as to bring them under the French hegemony, bring us under the French hegemony. That was the design. So they refused to sign a treaty of union with us, which I called the marriage certificate. There was no treaty of union, and they refused to recognize us as equals, because the United Nations said two states of equal status. They went ahead to dissolve our government, because we had our government and our prime minister was the head of state. They dissolved our institutions. They dissolved everything, and they dismissed our leader, who was supposed to be the vice president of this new structure, called the Federal Republic of Cameroon. He was dismissed by the French leader, appointed leader, Ahidjo. So we became annexed, occupied like a conquered people, and we were reduced to a province, and they changed our name to a province. They call us the province. We became a province instead of the equal, and a state that was equal to another state coming together to create a new nation. And then a couple of years after, they dissolved that caricature. They completely removed the Federal Republic that was just a facade to attack us and then annex us and completely annihilate our existence. So they dissolved that thing and they reverted to their original name because assimilation was complete. They reverted to their original name, which they call Republic of Cameroon. If you go to the United Nations today, when you talk about the Republic of Cameroon, their map does not include the Amazonia. When you go to the United Nations today, you find our map, which is separate from their map. We are two different entities. We did not sign a treaty of union that would have dissolved our borders and created new borders for a new nation, because they refused to sign a treaty of union with us because they contemplated annexation instead of a union. So that de facto union existed for as long as they could oppress us. We struggled to find solutions internally. We cried to the United Nations, wrote all kinds of petitions to the United Nations, but the world was more concerned about communism and the Cold War. They were more concerned, the French were more concerned about keeping us as conquering us through their proxy, who was the French Cameroon. Because before we joined them, unfortunately, or we attempted to join the French Cameroon, the French in 1958 had signed treaties, accords de coopération, which I really describe as the treaties for the continuation of colonialism. And this is terrible because the French never colonized Cameroon. They were authorized by the United Nations to administer these territories and prepare them for self-independence. But their own part of Cameroon, the French Cameroon, they made sure that before they would let them go, they signed treaties with them in 1958 and 59, 1 year or two before independence, insisting that everything on the ground belongs to the French. Insisting that even their money will be printed by the French. All their reserves will be in France. That even as far as the exploitation of their minerals are concerned, the French are given the right of first refusal. That means that whatever they find, whatever will be discovered, until the French cannot take it, cannot exploit it, cannot get the contract before they can give it to any other nation. So they signed onto slavery before they were granted a token independence in 1960. But our people were not very enlightened for us to choose to join ourselves with the people who had sold their rights, their ownership of everything. And so the French were bent on annexing us through their proxy, whom they had already taken complete control over, so that they will not have access to our resources without talking to us, without negotiating with us, because as long as their proxy has control over our territory, they have access to everything that we have. And
I see. Hold on a moment, Doctor. Let's go back to break again, and we'll come back and we'll pick up from here. There's more right here on Point with Wandel Stokes as we're talking about things that are happening and affecting, the former British Southern Cameroons. We're talking with the leader today. We'll go to break. We'll be back. Join the conversation, 404-726-1380.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices.
Let our fallen heroes and heroines guide and shield our men and women. Let their ultimate sacrifice be the reason we change the game and give our enemies what they have been giving us. Amazonia needs to protect its people from the terrorist troops of La République du Cameroun. The time is now to do just that.
We are enough, so let's draft, and draft. Our existence as a people depend on that.
It's time for Kupe Mwanenguba County.
I heard you. I heard you. Alone hobe tumbonaka mani betano bitanga chumubela dai muni chenge ibanga botanga ni kuwa so yakodo koritia sai mani betano bitanga kolo beba yako mani betano bitanga ti mani betano mukutokele mani betano bitanga ti mani betano bitanga ti mani betano bitanga kolo answer abanikosa abambalo mchelenya.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices.
Let our fallen heroes and heroines guide and shield our men and women. Let their ultimate sacrifice be the reason we change the game and give our enemies what they have been giving us. Ambazonia needs to protect its people from the terrorist troops of La République Cameroon. The time is now to do just that.
We are enough, so let's draft, and draft. Our existence as a people depend on that.
It's time for Kupe Mwanenguba County.
I heard you. I heard you. Alone hobe tumbonaka mani betano bitanga chumubela dai muni chenge ibanga botanga ni kuwa so yakodo koritia sai mani betano bitanga kolo beba yako mani betano bitanga ti mani betano mukutokele mani betano bitanga ti mani betano bitanga ti mani betano bitanga kolo answer abanikosa abambalo mchelenya.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices.
Let our fallen heroes and heroines guide and shield our men and women. Let their ultimate sacrifice be the reason we change the game and give our enemies what they have been giving us. Ambazonia needs to protect its people from the terrorist troops of La République Cameroon. The time is now to do just that.
We are enough, so let's draft, and draft. Our existence as a people depend on that.
It's time for Kupe Mwanenguba County.
Chumubela dahi mune chengeno Anjumopelo mune chengeno Chumubela dahi mune chengeno Anjumopelo mune chengeno Chumubela dahi mune chengeno Anjumopelo mune chengeno Atko Nyika I heard you. I heard you. Alone hobe tumbonaka mani betano bitanga chumubela dai muni chenge ibanga botanga ni kuwa so yakodo koritia sai mani betano bitanga kolo beba yako
On Point with Wandel and Stokes. Live well, win well. On News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Welcome back to On Point with Wandel and Stokes. Dr. Samuel Sako, I have a caller on the line who has a question for you. Hold on a moment. Wayne from Fayetteville, welcome. Our guest is on the line. Go right ahead.
Yes, how you doing, Wanda? And your guest?
I'm great.
Yeah, I was in the Bahamas when they gained their independence. It's quite a challenge, but one thing I would suggest to your guest is have some education classes and educate what it really means, gain your independence, and where everybody can take can have as much pride in the accomplishment as they can, and I think you have a much better chance toward the country being successful. That's just a thought I had. What do your guests think of that? Think of what I just said?
Dr. Sako, yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, the quality was not very good for me. I didn't get the full question.
Okay, Wayne, ask your question again. Yeah, ask your question one more time, Wayne.
Okay, the question is, and just gaining your independence, with this being new, I would suggest highly educating all of your new citizens the responsibilities, obligations, and the honor it is to be your own country, to make sure that you succeed. That's just my thought. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay. Dr. Sako, how important is it to educate the citizens and people about their responsibilities and the efforts to gain independence? How important is that to educate the people?
Yes. That's exactly what that's what we are doing. But the problem is we are now under annexation. We have been annexed. Our case is like that of Ukraine right now. So the kind of education we need right now is to mobilize the people to the maximum to fight and regain our total freedom. So in that freedom, we're going to start nation building. We cannot. The kind of education we need now is not nation building, the liberation messages to help our people to understand that no people on earth were created to be the subjects of another people. God created us equal. And for this to be going on in the 21st century is unacceptable. And French Cameroon was a Category B territory classified by the United Nations. We too, the Southern Cameroons and Bazonia were Category B territory. If the Category B territory of French Cameroon became independent, why should the Category B territory of the Southern Cameroon and Bazonia be their subject that they can kill at will, that they can massacre as their possession, as a conquered people? There is nothing that gives them that right. Not God, not nature. No government gave them that right. Even the United Nations did not give them that right. So this is the kind of education we have educated our people to refuse to settle for second class, to a people that they did not grant the sovereignty, their sovereignty to, or they did not agree to serve as a conquered people. So this is the kind of, for now, that's where we are, because we are all about liberating ourselves from the pangs of colonialism and neo-colonialism through the French proxy nations. As I said, the French were against us signing a treaty of union between the two, because they did not want to be, they did not want us to have any rights in this new nation. So they moved their proxies to refuse to sign a treaty of union, because when two nations are coming together to form a nation, there has to be a treaty of union signed, ratified by the parliaments of the two nations, and deposited at the United Nations. If you go to the archives of the United Nations, there is no treaty of union. They did that. It was a calculated attempt to completely annex us, keep us without rights, without privileges, without anything, without equality, and do whatever they wanted to do with our people and with our territory. And then there was
my request to you is, it's your challenge for all black Americans who believe like you do to help you. Ask for our help. And tell us what we can do to help you, and we will help you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your answer. But ask for our help and demand, and thank us in advance, and we'll do what we can. Thank you.
You are a blessing, brother, and that's why I want to thank Ms. Stokes and this great media house for giving me this privilege, and that's exactly where my message is going. We are where we are today, and if nothing is done, we'll all be annihilated, not because we are wrong, not because we have no rights, not because we are trying to take away somebody out, we are trying to break somebody else's country. We are saying that we came into an experimental union and it failed, because even the initiators were not there to ensure that it works. We were being annexed instead of a gentleman's agreement to unite with a brother. And so we have a right to be by ourselves if the courtship failed. That is where we are holding the United Nations to do something. Today we are abandoned to be annihilated by a French proxy because we are very rich. We have natural gas, about 4.8 billion cubic feet, untouched, unexploited. We have quota, we have crude oil, we have diamond, limestone, gold, iron ore, bauxite, uranium, aluminium, manganese. We are one of the richest parts of Africa, put together in one little country of 8 million people called Amazonia.
Yeah. Hold on a moment. Let me go to break, and I want you to pick up from there. We'll go to break, and we'll be back and learn more about Amazonia when we return. Right here on Point with Wandel Stokes.
This is Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, financial expert, and founder of Wealthy You. And you're listening to On Point with Wandel Stokes on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
The new WAOK listener line number is 404-726-1380. That's 404-726-1380. Call in now with your questions or comments on News and Talk 1380 WAOK. News and Talk WAOK and JD Entertainment presents An Evening of Jazz, Sunday, August 20th at the Maple House Barnes Amphitheater. Performing live is Jonathan Butler. Kirk Whalum, Adam Hawley, and Marcus Anderson. Concertgoers also get to bring in their own food, drinks, and coolers. Maple House Barnes Amphitheater.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices.
Let our fallen heroes and heroines guide and shield our men and women. Let their ultimate sacrifice be the reason we change the game and give our enemies what they have been giving us. Amazonia needs to protect its people from the terrorist troops of La République du Cameroon. The time is now to do just that.
We are enough, so let's draft, and draft. Our existence as a people depend on that.
It's time for Kupe Mwanenguba County.
Nika, Nika, I heard you, I heard you. Alone hobe tumbonaka, mani betano bitanga. Chumo beladahi muni chenge, ibanga botanga ni fuwa. So yakodo koriti asai, mani betano bitanga kolo. Beba, biako. Mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga kolo. Answer. Abanikoso, abambalo, mchelenya.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever achieved than by greater sacrifices.
Let our fallen heroes and heroines guide and shield our men and women. Let their ultimate sacrifice be the reason we change the game and give our enemies what they have been giving us. Ambazonia needs to protect its people from the terrorist troops of La République du Cameroon. The time is now to do just that.
We are enough, so let's draft, and draft. Our existence as a people depend on that.
It's time for Kupe Mwanenguba County.
Chumubeladahi mune chengeno, Anjumopelo mune chengeno, Chumubeladahi mune chengeno, Anjumopelo mune chengeno, Chumubeladahi mune chengeno, Anjumopelo mune chengeno. Atko, Nika, I heard you, Alone hobe tumbonaka, mani betano bitanga. Chumubeladahi muni chenge, ibanga botanga ni fuwa. So yakodo koriti asai, mani betano bitanga kolo. Beba, biako. Mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga ti, mani betano bitanga kolo. Answer. Abanikoso, abambalo, mchelenya.
The World Draft once more is coming to your county. Stand up and be counted. No greater victory was ever.
We are back, Dr. Sako. You do know why, and you the people, why the French are trying to just overtake, because you all are so rich there, and trying to overtake and control all of the the products, resources, and things that you all offer.
Yes. Stokes. Here is my request to the brothers and sisters, Afro descendants in the United States and around the world. I was in Brazil the other day talking to brothers and sisters. This is our request. The French Cameroon, as a proxy, has decided to annihilate brothers because of a failed experimental union, which is no fault of our own. It was a political action we took in the name of brotherhood to unite. And this is what they did to us. And we say we have restored our independence, our sovereignty, to be separate, but neighbors and brothers. Now they have decided to annihilate us. And under the watchful eyes of the international community, and this includes the United States government. This is our request. We think that God decided to advance you to be in the diaspora at a time like this. and has empowered you to do something for us. Advocacy is one of the things we will be hoping and praying that God will use our brothers, sisters here, because you can advocate, just your voice can make a difference. Advocacy to help us broker mediation, which to push the United States government, for example, because the United States government has passed some resolutions condemning what French Cameroon is doing. Initially, their resolutions were just to asking the Cameroon government or the French Cameroon government to do something about this problem, and talk. Then, by 2000, on the 1st of January 2001, they passed a far-reaching resolution. The Senate of the United States passed a far-reaching resolution 684 of the 1st January 2021, calling on both sides to embrace inclusive dialogue. But here's the thing: you don't tell a criminal to do, or somebody who is gaining from the status quo to champion or to come to the table willingly. The United States government should do more than just saying we should come to the table, because the state actor on the other side that has no motivation to come to the table, because he is the one perpetrating the crime and benefiting from the status quo. So the U.S. can put their pressure on that government to meet with us on the table. A process was put in place in Switzerland, and after 2 years of waiting, I was in Switzerland with the rest of Amazonia. They pulled out of Switzerland and refused to talk. The U.S., through the advocacy of the brothers and sisters of this nation, the U.S. government can do a little more to pressure the government of French Cameroon to meet us on the table for an amicable settlement of this anomaly. And also communication, helping to tell the world what is going on. Because evil triumphs where there is no light. Because they have succeeded through the use of all their lobbies to make sure that this truth is not spread, it's not known, it's not covered by mainstream media. Wherever we try to go, it is blocked. Our problem started before that of the Ukraine, but everybody knows what is going on in Ukraine, and nobody knows that more than 50,000 people have been slaughtered in Rwanda-style genocide in the Amazonia because there's a media blackout. Well, our brothers and sisters here can help us with communication. They can also help us legally. I want to announce to us here that while we ourselves here, some of us listening to me right now, we have put money together to support the Ukrainians against Russia annexation. But yes, in this country, the lobby, the French Cameroon lobby, is succeeding to imprison some of our own people who are fighting for against the same annexation that we are supporting. We are fighting against in Russia. They have been able to come to this country to use the legal framework of this country and to target us and criminalize our demand for a restoration, our denial of annexation against occupation, and saying this thing started with the UN, let it be corrected. And they are finding ways to use the American legal system. As I speak to you, two of our associates or activists have been arrested. They have been arrested for saying this annexation is wrong in Amazonia. Then it is wrong in Ukraine. But when it comes to Amazonia, when we say it is wrong, and we need to fight against the annexationists, and we need to recover our sovereignty that was stolen by these annexationists, they find a way to get some of our activists and want to criminalize them, want to imprison them for this. This is wrong. If annexation is wrong, it is wrong everywhere in the world. It cannot be wrong in Russia, it is right and be right in Amazonia. It cannot be wrong in Kuwait and be right in Amazonia, because we have been annexed by French Cameroon. What do you expect of us? Not to fight back annexation? Not to say it is wrong? If they are killing us, not to resist that? So that is what is going on. I think in terms of legal help, we can find it. We can find some legal support. We are on the right side. We are not stealing anybody's thing. We are not encroaching in anybody's nation. We are not taking anything that belongs to somebody. This is our country, and this is where we belong. And I plead with my brothers and sisters to say that where you are today, God has empowered you for this moment, because your original inheritance is in Amazonia. I was speaking with somebody the other day, and I said, when you left the continent and came here to the diaspora, you lost your original inheritance. Whatever inheritance you have in the United States is acquired inheritance. And when trying to get acquired inheritance, you have many forces fighting against you. The indigenes, the others who were here before you, the lords of the land, and the fighting against you, it is not easy.